Perfectly imperfect. In our current society, there is a certain strive for excellence or perfection. No human being is perfect. And when you accept that about oneself, then you will, there won't be so much of a resistance to change. Two, there'll be room for growth, less anxiety, things of that nature. When striving for perfection, we can put a certain amount of stress upon oneself. That's completely unnecessary. You cannot even be perfect in thought. And in regards to enlightenment and spiritual growth, heard once a wise man knows that he knows nothing at all. And it's that he knows nothing. He knows that there's always room for growth. There's always room for experience. And if we all were perfect, we couldn't learn from one another. We couldn't have a certain amount of perspective in regards to empathy, sympathy, things of that nature, in order to have that invoked within us. And we have to understand that everybody's life experience is different for a reason. Why? Because we are to learn from all. In regards to conscious awareness, spiritual unity, if we all had the same experience, then, how do you put it? It would be kind of incomplete in a way, thinking of it as a sphere. So, all at one spectrum, when there's nothing at the other end of the spectrum, it cannot be full or complete. We all have to experience different experiences, bring different energies to the table, and be at different levels. And this can get extremely complicated, and it's not meant to be. In order to simplify it is, when striving for spiritual growth, know that you cannot be perfect in thought. Do not resist experience. If you're led to go somewhere, go somewhere. You might lose some, you might gain some. If you are scared because of a certain belief system, to not try something, do something that your intuition might be calling you to do, that kind of is leaving an empty space or an incompleteness within your spirit. Thus, it needs to be fulfilled. So, it's not that it's more of a, oh, well, I can live without this and it'll just be better in the long run, and people don't normally do this. You're held to your own standard. That's why you cannot be perfect. You're held to your own standard. If you strive to be perfect and there's no such thing as perfect, and that is your standard, then there will always be a lack or less than feeling within yourself and within your soul. When you are complete and aware and willing to experience, regardless of what other people might think, then there's a certain wholeness within yourself. Thus, you project that wholeness, and you spread that wholeness around you. And if everybody learned that there is no perfect, there's no ceiling, then they would be more propelled to live presently. And when living presently, that gains happiness. And when we all have happiness, it's a more serene living environment for all involved. So living in a constant state of I need to be perfect is living in a constant stress state, anxiety-ridden state, depressed state. And if we all try to live up to expectations that are not, attainable, then we'll all be stressed out. So you do not have to be perfect. Even when, in regards to your spiritual growth, you cannot all the time, even in thought, be perfect. And why you are challenged with certain ideas, certain experiences, certain situations, is to grow from them. And by resisting growth, by doing something because it's not perfect, or it's not going to come out perfect, or you're not going to do it perfectly, only creates resistance within yourself, an inner dialogue of resistance against yourself. And it just altogether will just build a state of mind which is not healthy or conducive to your environment. And when you want to spiritually grow, it's all about, and I know I use the word a lot, idealistic, but to be happy. We all want to strive to be happy. I want to be happy. How do I make myself happy? You know, there's a lot of things in order to gain happiness, but know first that no human being is perfect. We do not hold those standards to things around us. There could be two trees next to each other. Both of them have the same use. Both of them are different. They're not comparing tree to tree. Why? Because they're both perfect within their own way, perfectly imperfect. Do not hold yourself to standards of other people, number one. You're your own person with your own standards. And realize that perfection is actually idealism. But wanting to be happy is not.